So, okay. But anyway, we need to get started because we have to get down to tachlis. So those are the items. So we put chazeret. I've heard you could put lettuce, or we put romaine. And romaine has to be washed very well so it doesn't have dirt in it. They have bags that are a little more expensive that are pre-washed. So people who are very observant, very machmir, you can use that. So let's get started with, all right, so we have the Passover plate, the items that you have to have. I just wanted to show you. We have a program that I used to present called Sederai, and we would have either a speaker or a craft. This year we did, a couple of years ago, we did making Miriam's cup, Kos Shel Miriam. And we had somebody who was an artist, and she had templates, and she gave us paint, and we made our own Miriam's cup. And that's what I use. It was a simple $1 glass cup and glass wine glass, and we made it into something nice and something special, which I've kept and I've used it, forever. The Elijah's cup I already.
Yeah, I have a Miriam's cup and a Miriam's picture that Irene Hellitzer's thing.
Yeah.
Why not?
So you put the water in the pitcher.
Yeah, because you're supposed to pour it. Actually, you're supposed to pour it at the table. For the Miriam's
I don't
cup.
have a special picture, but we do it. Okay, so I wanted to go. We will go from the cover. Now, the cover says Haggadah Shel Pesach. Does anyone know what Haggadah means?
Order.
Seder
means
order.
No, Haggadah is not order.
Haggadah is the story,
Yeah.
the telling.
All right, it comes from the verb hagid, which means to tell, and the telling of Passover, Haggadah Shel Pesach. And then Seder, of course, is order. Lisader in Hebrew means to order something, to put it in order, to organize. So that's on the cover. And then when you, we're not going to discuss it now because that'll take too much time. But beforehand, on the day of Passover, which is going to be like Friday before about 10 o'clock, you're supposed to get rid of all your chametz. And chametz, anything that's not pesadek, like cereal and bread and crackers and all that good stuff, put it away. In our synagogue, we have a document that we sign and give to the rabbi that says where we place all our chametz. I put it in the garage. And some people say, and I also put on there, I've also sold my dog and my cat to you because I guess they would be chametz in their food. I don't buy kosher dog food. I'm sorry, I don't go to that extent. So we're now, so before, you have to do the night before Passover. You probably have done this. You do the search, bidikat chametz, to search for chametz. And since the kids were small and now the kids are big, they're in their 40s, we still do it. A lot of times I had a shmata on my head because I was finishing a painting of a room or something like that. You need to have a candle and you need to have a feather and a paper bag. Somebody beforehand has to take 10 pieces of bread, which you have saved for this. This is the night before Passover, and distributes it in all the rooms except the bathroom. The bathroom for religious purposes is always forget about it. Don't do it. Don't read anything religious in there. Don't do any praying in there. Don't do blessing in there. The bathroom is like dirty. You can't do that. So now and all the lights are out and it's already dark. And so we have to go on the search by candlelight. So we light the candle. I put my kippy kapot on and we go and we have, a wooden spoon. And we go looking for in every room. And when I found it, take that, have this spoon and you have the feather and you brush that piece of bread onto the spoon with the feather and plop it in the paper bag. After you found all 10, hopefully you do, the next morning, you put that away, and the next morning, there's a blessing that you say, okay, these are in Aramaic, and you are ready for biur chametz, the burning of the chametz. So we go outside and we dig a hole. We had a dog who used to dig the hole for us, but this one is lazy. He won't do it. We dig a hole. You put some newspaper, whatever. You put the paper bag, the spoon, the feather, the whole works. And you're going to make toast. You're going to put this stuff in the hole, and you're going to burn it. In some places, in some very religious places, they have a big garbage pail that everybody comes in the neighborhood, a metal pail, and they put their stuff in and they light fire to it. But we do it in the backyard. So if anyone ever rototills my backyard, they're gonna find a lot of interesting stuff. Okay, so now it's the morning of Passover. The custom is not to eat matzahs or the month before Passover, not matzah crackers, matzah meal, or any matzah stuff. And the reason for that would be, anybody know?
So that it tastes wonderful.
Yes,
So that it's
to
special.
arouse, exactly, to arouse your taste buds. That's the one time in the year that you're going to eat all this matzah and you're going to have it coming out of your ears for 8 days. Although I love it and I hate to give it up. Okay, so now we are ready for the Passover. We have set the table and we're ready. And the very first thing you're going to do now, so we've done, the house is clean up chametz as best we can. We've sold our animals, we put our stuff away, and we've changed over. If you do that, that means you have 4 sets of dishes, 4 sets of pots, 4 sets of silverware, and everybody thinks you're out of your mind. My Christian friends say to me, boy, the Jews have a lot of rules. That's what they tell me all the time. Okay, now we get to, we're at the Seder table, and page 1 that I sent you says, Siman l'Seder shel Pesach. So Siman are the symbols, I like the symbols. Simanim would be the symbols of the Passover Seder. So this is, we are going to sing the table of contents of the evening's goings on. So it has a little melody.
Carol, can you just show the picture? Can you show the page you're using right now?
Page 1. I'm going to do it in order. Page 1.
I gotcha. Okay.
Okay. And if you don't have this, if you didn't print it out, then you can use any Haggadah. The one that we use in our house is this one, not Maxwell House. We use this one. Sometimes it looks like this. It's the same one, depends on the printing. It has a pretty nice, it's pretty big and it's easy to read. And they're inexpensive. So this is the first thing you do, the order of the Seder, and you sing it. And it tells you exactly what you do, and it never varies. It's always the same. It goes like this. Kadesh Orchatz Sarpas Yachatz Magid Rachza Motzi Matzah Maror Korech Shulchan Orech Sapun Barech Hallel Nirtzah. So some of these words you might be familiar with. Kadesh, you know, Kiddush, right? And Kadosh, Kiddush. Well, that's the root, Kadesh. Recite the Kiddush. Rachatz, I don't know if you would know, but washing. Karpas, we've said, the green vegetable. Yachatz is breaking. Magid, lahagid, that's when we tell the story. We were slaves in Egypt, Avadim Hayinu, the Pharaoh Mitzrayim, and God took us out with a strong arm, and we tell the story in Hebrew and in English. Rachza is washing. Motzi matzah, the blessing on the matzah, that's important. Maror, we know the bitter herb, that'll have its own blessing. Korech, there's no word that I know that's similar in modern Hebrew. Shulchan is a table. Orech, the setup table, the prepared table. Tzapun, I don't know any. Barech is a blessing, grace after meals. Birkat Hamazon, and Hallel. It's a holiday, Chag. You recite Hallel. Nirtzah, the end. And we end with L'Shana Haba'ah Yerushalayim, next year in Jerusalem, right? And there's different melodies to that. And we'll go over that next week. So by the way, talking about next week, we're going to do this in 2 weeks, today and next week. The 8th, I'm having company coming. So I'm going to take that one, the liberty of taking that off. Women's League, of course, is not having any classes scheduled for the night of Passover, which is the 15th. And the 8th day of Passover, the night before, which is Friday night, the 22nd. So then I will see you after next week in 3 weeks. Okay, so we're done with that. Does anybody want to try saying it? Or anyone know how to sing it? Alice, you know how to sing it? Diana? The order?
Kadesh Utzchatz Karpas Yachatz Magid Ratza Motzi Matzah Maror Korech Shulchan Orech Safon Barech Halal Nitzah.
Thank you, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That was really beautiful.
You.
Okay, Toda Rabah. Lovely. Okay, so that is what it sounds like. And it's very nice if everybody is doing it all together. Okay, that will take us up to page 2. Now, I don't have every page here. I'm not doing every single page, but I have the highlights, the really important highlights. Okay, thank you, Alice. So the second page I sent you says Kiddush Shel Pesach. By now, you should be able to read that. Kiddush
Shell paste.
from the root
I don't have it.
Kodesh, Kiddush. Second page. Yes, you have all this. I
I
sent
don't
5.
have that.
Kiddush? I don't have it
This
either.
one, I
It's the second
Yeah.
attachment.
the
It's
second
got 2 little
printout.
wine glasses on it.
Order.
And a bottle.
I sent
The
5.
one with the
handouts.
wine glasses?
Yeah. got
That's
it.
the one.
Oh, yeah, at the top. I was starting to read in the middle. Yes, Kiddush.
Okay. So it has a special melody too. It's not the same as a regular Friday night Kiddush.
Okay.
The words are nice and big, so I can do it and then we can go over it again. So it goes Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. That sounds familiar.
Mhm.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Here it gets different. Asher bachar banu mikol am. V'romemanu mikol hashon. V'kiddushanu b'mitzvotav. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava. Moadim l'simacha. Chagim uzmanim l'sason. Et yom chag hamatzot hazeh. Zman cherutenu mikra kodesh. Zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Kivanu v'charta. Ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim u'moadei kodshecha b'simcha u'v'sason inchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. Now, if you go over it, you'll see that there's words that you know. So the first part, I think, pretty familiar. And it says, Asher bachar banu, God chose us, mikol am, from all nation, and raised us up, v'romamanu, we call Ashon, from every language, the kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, and sanctified us with his mitzvot. It's very nice, very uplifting, isn't it? And gave us, Vatiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu, with love, times for happiness, holidays, and times for rejoicing. Zmanim l'sason, like a wedding is one of those. Et Yom Chag Hamatzot Hazeh, and this holiday of matzahs. Zman cherutenu. Cherut means freedom, and that is the main idea of this whole evening. Zman cherutenu, the time of our freedom, so important. Mikra Kodesh, a holy time. And here it again, it repeats, Zecher, in remembrance of. Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim. This is a signature moment in Jewish history that we carry with us for thousands of years. It wasn't just the Exodus. This is a moment that we talk about in the commandments. We carried this idea of we were free. This is God's edge on us. I took you out of Egypt. No, so what are you going to do for me? This is the bargaining chip. You were freed from slavery. Now I give you 10 commandments. I give you 13 commandments. I expect you to do them. And as we saw in the Shema, And if you don't, it's not going to be pretty. And if you do, rain, crops, happiness, we're all good. We won't vanish from the face of the earth. This is the bargaining chip. This is that moment in Jewish history. I think, I don't know if it's more important, but this is the backdrop to the 10 Commandments and why we would obey them. And because it says, I am the Lord your God who took you out of the land of Egypt. That's number one, right? Okay, Zecher, remembrance of Litziat Mitzrayim. You know that sign that says exit this way out? And we followed it. And then Kivanu Vachata Kidashta, you made us holy. You made us holier than all nations. Now, this would be interpretation by rabbis, not by me, but what does that mean? Does that mean we're superior? Does that mean we're better? Does that mean we're going to win a lot of negative publicity from people? So it made us holy in the sense of, I think, that these commandments we have to abide by. As like my Christian friend said, you have a lot of laws. Okay, umoade and times, holy times. We've been given holy times. B'simcha u'b'sason. So this is a happy occasion, right? This is very happy. B'simcha, with happiness, u'b'sason. We know simchat Torah, and come to my simcha. This is a happy thing. Ahin chaltanu means you bequeathed to us. We inherited as part of the Jewish people. So over thousands and thousands of years, this is our inheritance. This thing that we have been given, this holiday, our freedom, and never forget it. And then the end says, blessed is a God who sanctifies Israel, the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, not Eretz Yisrael, not at that time. It wasn't a state, not Medina, not Yisrael. And the seasons and the times of rejoicing. So so you can see that the idea of freedom is very heavy in this Kiddush. And like I said, it has a special melody. So moving along, we have here the top, the shank bone on page 3. And then now we start with, we filled the first cup of wine, but we didn't drink it. Now it says, after we do Shehechianu, leaning on the left side, drink the first cup of wine. Anyone know why we lean? We're supposed to have a pillow.
Yeah,
and
because
lean.
because that's why was it the Greeks or the people who were
Romans,
wealthy
I think it was
and
Romans.
the Romans, that makes more sense. Yeah, the
Greeks
Romans
and
would,
Romans
they
used to lean.
yeah. So this
Their
would mean
pillows
Yeah,
you're,
they had like a
lean.
couch.
and you're
They had a
lifted up.
couch and they would recline when they ate. Okay,
Well, it
so
was
now
also
is the
time that you
time.
were free to relax and not have to, be at attention.
Exactly.
So
Good, Eddie. Yeah, so we are free men at our table. We can eat relaxed. We can have a pillow. We can have a couch and lie down. And now we will drink the first cup of wine. Okay, so the Shehechianu, if you read in your Haggadah, it says, and I was not aware of this until I actually read it again.
I have a
This
question.
billionth time. But just one second about the Shehechianu. Hang on one sec. Okay. And then the festival this year starts, the first night is on a Friday night. So make sure it says here, it says after the first cup, if the festival's on Friday night, the following is added. Okay, and you have to say, on Saturday night, you have to say something for Havdalah. So this is Vayechulu, and we had studied that before. You've studied that probably in advanced Hebrew, advanced beginners. Okay, and
In my
with the
family,
Shehechianu, it says, recite Shehechianu, the blessing who has kept us in life here. If the festival is not on Saturday night. So when I go to my Chabadniks on Saturday night, I'm supposing they won't recite that. And I will ask why. Okay, so why on Saturday night do you not recite this? And just I've never noticed that before.
What is it that you don't recite on Saturday
Wait,
night?
where are
It-
you?
it-
Carol, where are you? I thought you were on this page with the Seder plate.
I am. That's Shehechianu.
Okay, in
The
my
big print there.
family,
Saturday night stuff. Where are you that you're talking
Okay,
about?
I am reading, I am just telling you to read. We don't have time in 1 hour to go through every single page. But the directions, read in your, whatever Haggadah you use, read. Because I noticed, is that Paula? I noticed that in my Haggadah, it said, there's something to add special that we do on Friday night for the Friday night Kiddush, by Yechul HaShemayim, by Yechul HaAretz. And on Saturday, if I'm on page 6 of this Haggadah, page 7, it says, before the Shehechianu blessing, it just says, if the festival is not on, recite Shehechianu, if the festival is not on Saturday night. So I will find out why we don't recite Shehechianu on Saturday night, because the second night, Saturday night.
okay, in my family, we do the candle blessing and Shehechianu.
Maybe that's why, because yes. So I guess I forgot that when we do the blessing for the candles,
Right, we do it when we
Yes.
bless the candles, so you're not blessing candles on Saturday night. That's
all right,
right.
I have here, lighting the
But the
festival on this Sabbath, add the words in parentheses, I got that, and then it says, and then there is Shehechianu. So maybe they don't want you to double up, that might be the reason. See, it's a learning experience.
Because you've already done the
Maybe that's-
Shehechianu the first night.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's a good reason. All right, so that word, I want to make sure you can pronounce these words correctly. So that word is Shehecheyanu. Shehecheyanu. This first is a hey, and the second letter is a chet. So it's Shehecheyanu.
Okay.
The first one is breathy. It's the hey. Shehecheyanu. And the second one is the gargle one. The guttural sound. Okay, can everybody say that? Shehecheyanu. Yeah, it's a little hard to go from one to the other, the h to the ch, but that's what you have to do. Okay, if you have that in front of you, I'd like to do the Shehechianu. Together. Okay, so we will do that the first night, Friday. Now, I don't know. So I guess if you do it with the candle lighting, I guess you don't, I don't know if you say it again. I guess you don't say it again because you're saying that for the holiday. Maybe that's it. Friday night. Yeah, I guess so. Seems to make sense. No, it's if the festival is not on Saturday. I don't know if you do it twice. I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay.
Because when you
Saturday,
start it
yeah.
on
Not to do it
Saturday,
Saturday.
it's still Shabbat when you start. Well, it's still Shabbat, it's still the holiday, so you can't light candles.
I don't think that's true. I think there's like a very
If the
small
flame is-
window
Yeah,
between the end of Shabbat and when you start the holiday that you're allowed to do it, I think.
On other holidays, you can light candles when it starts on Saturday night. Oh, well,
Would you
from the
start
second night is
after
right.
But it's
Shabbat?
like that
Second night.
window, it's that window between the end of Shabbat and the beginning of the holiday. I think there's like a very small window.
Wow.
So we have to really look that up. That I'm
Not,
not an
I'm
expert
not
on that
100%,
timing.
but I think that,
Because you're lighting the candles on the second night anyway, because it's a
Yeah.
holiday.
but
So
that's
you have
what
to
she's
light the
saying, but
candles.
you can't light them if it's Shabbat. So
Right.
it has to be
Right.
like the moment when Havdalah is over, when we do Havdalah, and then you're allowed to light before the holiday starts.
But I thought the second day of Pesach is like a Shabbat. It's so you can't do anything. You can't do cooking. You can't do anything.
But you do
Yeah,
light
that's
candles.
correct.
You light candles both nights.
Yeah, but that has to be, the lighting of the candles would have to be after Shabbat.
Right.
After Shabbat is over, you can't do it, let's say 4 in the afternoon, 5 o'clock.
Right.
But
have
you
an
always-
early
You're
dinner.
talking
You can't
about
do that. It has-
8:30. You're talking about 8:30 at night after Havdalah, but it's
Yeah.
still like a, well,
But you can cook after that.
I said 8:30 at
On
night.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
You can
After
cook for
Shabbat
that
is
day.
over, you could warm things up, you could cook, you
Yeah.
can, you know, some people don't set the table or do any work. My daughter won't even set the table before because her husband sets work. So after Shabbat, you can do all that cooking, warming, all that stuff. So I have to find out. I'll ask my expert.
But this year, Saturday is the first day of Pesach.
Second
So-
night, second night.
The
Second
first
night.
day,
Right.
so it's still a
First day.
holiday.
Yeah,
But-
it's the first day and second night.
You probably have to light it from an existing light.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's why they have those little things. You probably have to, you know, do that and light it from an
Rubber candle.
existing
Mhm.
candle, yeah. Like a yard site kind of glass, you know, the one that will keep on burning.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and that would be allowed because it's if it's Chag, if it's holiday, you wouldn't be lighting it. That is all correct. So the word is Shehecheyanu v'kimanu,
Manu,
v'kimanu, v'higiyanu, Lazman hazeh.
Lazman hazeh.
So the Shehecheyanu, who has kept us in life, you have the Chai. Some of you may have a pendant that has Chai, the Chet and the Yud, Chai. So that kept us alive. The Kimanu, and I guess guarded us, and Higianu, and brought us to this time. Okay, and preserved it like Kimanu, and brought us Higianu Lazman Hazeh. So can we say slowly that Shehechianu? Let's make sure we can all get that. All right, when I say Shalosh, Achat, Shtaim, Shalosh, Achat, Shtaim, Shalosh, let's do it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
Melech
Elech haolam Shehecheyanu v'kimanu
V'higianu
Lazman
Lazman
hazeh.
hazeh.
Very nice, Yofi. All right, so we're leaning on the left side, we drink a cup of wine and we start to get a little warmed up, and it's my kids know after the first couple of glasses of wine, I get very happy, and singing is not a problem. I remember as a kid sliding under the table in my grandmother's house. And I also remember always getting that horrible piece of the white of the egg, of the white in the borscht. I always got it. I don't know why. I always got that like the mucus part of the white in my grandmother's borscht. Anyway, so karpas, we said, was eat the green vegetable, and it's interesting. So the master of the house, not the mistress, God forbid, takes some parsley or any green vegetable and dips it into vinegar or salt water. Now I understand that in Upper Europe, Eastern Europe, like Poland and Russia, it's cold, still cold, and the parsley may not have sprouted yet. So they would use a green potato, I hear. I've heard people use a green. Now, you don't want to eat a green potato because that's not healthy, but it's green, it's still green. The potato, they would use that because I guess they didn't have the greens growing yet. Does anybody else have any weird things that they use instead of parsley? Nothing weird? Well, we have access to parsley.
Persians don't use parsley,
What do they use?
but they use romaine. They use some friends I have use potato even.
Well, so
Yeah,
does
well,
Rick.
Say
boiled
some people
potato.
use boiled
Yeah.
potato.
I've heard
but we'll
celery
just-
being used.
I've heard
Celery.
celery too.
Good,
Yeah.
yeah, so people have, their families and maybe wherever they're from, it's a little slightly different custom. Okay, and we have the salt water on the table, and there's no cup for salt water. You have to have a little bowl, and if you have a lot of people, you have a couple of bowls on a bowl on each table. And they dip it in and they say the blessing on karpas. Okay, and the words at the end are Borei Pri Ha'adama, and that's the blessing, the generic blessing for vegetables. Of course, parsley is a vegetable. Borei Pri Ha'adama. Adama is the ground. Things that grow on the ground, things coming from ha'etz, that's going to be your fruits. Okay, so why don't we say the blessing for parsley? Are you ready? Achat, shtaim, shalosh. Let's go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei pri Adama,
Adama.
who takes out the fruit of the earth, which is a vegetable. So magid is the noun from the verb lahagid, haggadah, magid, story, telling. Okay, uncover the matzah. And so you'll have a matzah cover with 3 sections, and there's different interpretations. Some people say it's for the 3 kinds of Jews, for Kohen, Levi, and Israel. There are different kinds of interpretations. And so you have the matzah bag, and it's got 3 divisions, and put that in, and that eventually is going to be the one that's going to be the middle one. Hide the middle matzah part of it, broken, for the afikomen, for the kids to find. But we lift it up, and we start with this. And what language is this in?
Aramaic.
It's in Aramaic. Now, make sure you don't confuse Aramaic and Arabic. Aramaic was the spoken language of Jews in temple times, in ancient times. Arabic is what Arabs speak. So this is Aramaic. And we know because there's an aleph at the end. So the words sound foreign, like ha lachma. Does anyone know what lachma means? Any guess at what that's referring to? It's lechem. So the words are just a tilt, a little bit different. This is the bread. Ha, like hine, lechem, shel ha'oniim. This is the bread of affliction. Some people translate this the bread of the poor, but it is also, it's the bread of affliction. Okay, because we were slaves. And we came out of hurrying out, and the matzah and this dough didn't rise. So it's a remembrance, another remembrance, a visceral remembrance, right? Of put on your sandals, get your staff, and get the heck out while you can. Get out. So halach ma'anya, diachalu avahatana, be'ara de Mitzrayim. Kol dichfin yete v'yechul, kol ditzrich yete v'yifsach, hashata ha-cha, lishana ha'ba'a, that we know next year, be'ara di Yisrael, in Eretz Yisrael. Hashata avdei, this year, shata is shana. We are slaves. Lishana ha'ba'a, next year, b'nei chorin. Now, I underlined those 2 in line 4 because we're going to see that in another song in Avadim Hayinu. And I always wondered where those 2 words came from because they're not in the text in the song that we sing. So I looked and I found it. And one day I said, there it is. And I will show you. And you can tell people at the Seder that you know where the words come from. Okay, so we're really, we're getting started. And the melody that I learned was something like this. It's a little weird. Halachma anya di achalu avahatana be'ara de Mitzrayim. Line 2. Kol dichfin yete v'yechul, kol ditzrich yete v'yifsach, hashata ha-cha, lishana haba, be'ara de Yisrael, hashata avdei, l'shana haba, b'nei chorin. I'm going to tell you the last two words means, like, what does b'nei mean?
The
Like
ch- the
b'nei
children.
Yisrael,
The children.
Children.
children of, sons of, right? Chorin, free people. Sons of free people. So the
Well,
ending
wait a
says
second.
Shana Haba.
Doesn't B'nai, like if you, can it be children instead of just sons, B'nai?
Of course it can.
Descendants,
Of
right?
course.
Descendants, okay.
Well,
this-
sons would be, I think the closest would be children of, because you have ben and bat. Okay, you have a bat
B'nai
mitzvah and a
mitzvah.
bar mitzvah.
And a B'nai
So the
mitzvah.
b'nai, that would be the children of, in a plural, children of mitzvah, if you're having a dual, two. So b'nai is a children of free people. So the next generation is going to be free.
Mhm.
And that's the point. Next
the-
year, we will be free, sons of free people. It like just free people. It like B'nai Yisrael means Israelites, doesn't, it could be sons of Israel, but it's Israelites. We will be free people. B'nai, men and women who are free. B'nai Chorin. All right, so we're gonna keep our eye on that. Those two lines, we will get back to it, and times of going, so.
The synagogue, B'nai Jezreel, has that tune on their website for Passover music.
B'nai Jeshurun?
Yeah,
The one I just sang,
yes.
really?
On the
Okay,
website?
I don't know. where I
That's the
picked it
one
up.
I'm used to hearing too, at our Seder.
Yes, that's the one I learned. I guess it's a traditional one for that because it's Aramaic and da 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 da. And I feel like going, yeah, da 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 da. It feels very Middle Eastern, doesn't it? It really has that
Yeah.
very Middle Eastern sound. Okay,
As it
page
is.
4, the 4 questions, the 4 questions. Okay, so this year, I'm going to have an Ecuadorian family at my Seder, and a little girl who's 9 years old, their daughter, who calls me abuelita. She calls me grandma, and she treats me like a grandma, and I brag to everybody about, I have a grandma's brag book, all the pictures they send me about this little Ecuadorian girl, and we're thick. So I'm going to let her do the questions in Spanish and in English. And she's going to be the youngest one there, because my kids, they read the questions, but it's they're not 9 anymore. So I'm going to include her in every way in the service. Okay, so Manish Tana, what is the change? Halayla Hazeh, this night, what is the difference from all Halilot, from all the nights? Laila is night and Leilot is the plural. What's the difference in this night from all the nights? That's literally what it says. It says, it's a good translation. It says what we said, why is this night different from all other nights? And it's good. And then it goes on and it says all the different things we do. Does anyone know what the first one says? Shebachol halilot anu ochlin chametz umatzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah. What is that talking about?
Night we eat matzah.
Right, we could eat anything. Ochlin chametz, we can eat chametz, leavened products, or matzah, we can, I don't. And this night, only matzah. Okay, this night's special. The second one, shebecho, that on all, halilot anu ochlin is ochel, food we eat. Sha'ar yerakot, all kinds of vegetables. Halayla hazeh, maror. What does that one say?
Tonight we eat only bitter herbs.
Yeah, we eat bitter herbs. And it doesn't say only, it says halayla hazeh maror, that we make sure we include bitter herbs. It doesn't say only. With the first one says only. Okay, so we must have, because that's anything on the Seder plate is extremely important because it is a symbol, right? And it's a symbol of the bitterness of slavery. Third one, Shebechol halilot ein anu matbilin Afilu pa'am echat halayla hazeh shtei pa'amim. We don't do what on all nights?
Oh, we don't dip.
Lean.
We don't dip.
We don't,
dip.
no, not yet. We don't dip mafilin even once.
Salt
I
water.
mean, it would be odd if you sat down with your family for a regular dinner and then you took out parsley and a little cup of water and you started dipping it and then you started eating it. Wouldn't they think that that was odd? Because we don't do that. Maybe that was a custom a long time ago. Yes.
It does say only bitter herbs in the Haggadah. In the one
Well,
you're
that's
using,
why,
it says only
I'm
bitter,
using
and I
the-
have I have both the Maxwell House and that one, and they both say only bitter herbs. You're right, it shouldn't be, but they do, that's what they say, so,
okay. That's why I like to translate it.
yeah.
Okay, because you can eat vegetables, you can have vegetable kugel
Right.
for your veggie guests, that's fine. Right? You can have all kinds of vegetables. It doesn't say only. You saw that the other one said kulo. Kulo means only. And it just says on this night, we eat bitter vegetables, which you wouldn't give your family horseradish, ground up horseradish on a little tam on a regular night. So we eat maror, but not only, that would be ridiculous. That means you, besides all the things we can't eat, you can't eat any vegetables. That's insane. No, that's not what it says. Okay, so now we dip. And all these things are weird, of course, to arouse the kids. So it's like, why are we doing all this weird stuff? And the fourth one, Shebechol Halalot Anu Ochlin, we eat Bein Yoshvin. Yoshev means sitting, between sitting, Ubein Misubin, and leaning. So we could sit, we can lean a little bit. Halayla Hazeh, Kulanu Misubin, all of us lean. And so you're supposed to have a pillow and you're supposed to lean a little bit, okay? Kulanu, all of us, will be lean, Mr. Bean. Okay, very good. Now, there's two melodies. There's one which is a sing-songy one, which I learned in my little bit of Hebrew school when I was a kid, and it was da 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 ba ba da 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 dee dee. Okay, and then there's another way to do it. Manashana halayla hazeh mikol halaylo shebechol halaylo ochlin chametzu matzah halayla hazeh kulo matzah. I'm wondering if that's a more orthodox.
It sounds
version.
like it is.
I never heard
On
that.
Sounds
B'nai
like it
Jezrin,
is.
on the B'nai Jezrin album, they have that one in Yiddish, that tune. So you have the
I
fear.
may try to do the questions in Yiddish this year too. I may throw it in because I had taken a few Yiddish classes. I'm gonna just go where I'm not comfortable.
The fear kasha.
Okay, so the fear kashas. The erste kasha, the kasha is a question. But in my house, kasha is a very delicious
Kasha is a
Food.
varnish.
kasha mit varnishkas.
Yep.
Okay, kasha varnishkas. Okay. Unfortunately, you can't have that
Not for Pesach.
on Passover, not kasha.
You can-
But
you can
now,
make-
now you can have.
You can make
You can't have
quinoa fake
couscous and you can't
noodles.
Well,
Quinoa fake
I have a
pasta.
wonderful recipe for quinoa and vegetables that's real with like curry and stuff like that. Very good. Okay, so why don't we go through the 4 questions and make believe that you're all the youngest at your Seder? Okay, some of you may be. I don't know. Okay, so let's
A lot of
do
old
it
people.
together. Slowly, la'at la'at, slowly, slowly. 1, 2, 3. First question. better idea. Why don't we have groups? Because this is not going to make it in Carnegie Hall.
Why not?
So, well, let me just take a look at the attendance, and I'm going to put you in two groups, and I'm going to be quiet. And let's see if we can, I know it's very hard to do group singing on, okay,
Yeah.
so
It
why don't we
lags.
have Michelle? Okay.
We need to have somebody directing so everybody's together.
It doesn't matter. who
Alice
directing.
does it,
It
and we just sit
doesn't,
and enjoy.
it doesn't
Pleasure
work.
listening to you, Alice.
Oh, well.
Well, it all depends if we're reading or singing.
That's right.
Yes, that is.
Okay, so why don't we have Michelle, Sherry Fox, Beryl, that's 3.
I don't sing.
Helene is 4. And one more, and Sherry Rubin, 5. You do those, and then we have Alin and Sherry Stein and Edie and Alice, Diana, and I think there's somebody I didn't.
Me,
Oh,
Rhoda.
Paula and Rhoda.
and
Paula
Rhoda. Yes, I didn't. Yeah, and Rhoda and me, Rhoda.
and Paula. Did you get
Yes.
Paula?
Yeah, I did put Paula. You're in the second group,
Okay.
and Rhoda, and I think we have everybody then. Okay, so let's try it, Rhoda. Okay, so let's try it again. So we have 1.
Starting from the
let's-
beginning?
Right, the 4 questions.
No, we will not be that brave. Okay.
So you want me to?
Oh my
start
God,
with-
it's 2:30.
Okay,
Yeah.
Oh,
you want me to go with the
Alright.
first question?
why don't we go with the third and fourth with the 2 groups? Okay, the first group do the third question and the second group do the fourth question. How's that? Because it's
Okay.
2:30 and I don't want to keep you late.
Okay.
Okay, group 1, hit it.
Shalom,
Anu,
Anu,
Mafili, Afilu, Pa'a,
And
Pam echad. Keep going. Halayla.
Hazeh,
Amim. Good, that was much better. And now group 2, everybody else who didn't join in group 1 is group 2. And do the fourth one. 1, 2, 3, go.
You
On that
don't try
note-
to go on American Idol,
Oh,
okay?
No,
Okay.
but it was fun.
My.
It's like that
We call
commercial on
ourselves
TV with the
The voice of the
orchestra.
Haggadah. Okay, so I had given you, and I'm just gonna tell you one thing. I had given you the 4 sons or daughters or questioners, any 4. Okay, in my Chabadniks, they have 5 children, and we have to sit and listen to each child says the 4 kashas. That's 20 questions.
Boy, boy, boy.
Yes.
How long's that take?
Okay, now, it takes enough time. I'm usually having chicken soup about 2 in the morning and I'm ready to plunk in it. Because a million times questions. And that, strangely enough, after the meal, they don't do the second part, my favorite part. They don't do all the songs, you know, they don't do all that
Oh.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's the fun
Oh,
part.
well, next week, tune in and you'll get all the songs. Okay, well, we'll do the first one. However, I just wanted to tell you, if you look at page 5, and I underlined the front, this is the beginning of the story. We were slaves in Egypt. And it goes like this. Just, I'm going to do this and then we'll close. Avadim hayinu, the Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim, and it repeats. Avadim hayinu. Now comes the big ata b'nei chorin, avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin. I will bet you $1,000,000 buckaroos, you will not see those words ata b'nei chorin there. But now here's the secret. Go back to page, and this is my big secret. Go back to page 3 on the bottom, and you'll see B'nai Chorin. Now we are free people. And Ata means now. So that's the end of that song, because it says, we were slaves, Avadim Hayinu Pharaoh b'Mitzrayim. We were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. Ata, now. Ata b'nei chorin. Now we are free men. The first part has to have the ending. What's the big deal that we were slaves in Egypt? But this whole night is about now we are b'nei chorin. So you can tell everybody how smart you are, that in the end of Halach Ma'anya, that's the end of the song. And we were slaves in Egypt. Avadim hayinu. There are the missing words. That we have solved the mystery. It took me a long time to solve that mystery. Where are the words? Why am I singing these words and they're not here? And that, my friends, is the answer. So next week we will quickly go over the 4 children, and we will then think about, why do we call one wicked? Rasha. Ra is bad, evil. Why are we calling one Rasha? That's something to think about. That's a big discussion. I don't like that interpretation at all. Okay,
My
and
family.
we'll go through
What
to the
did you
end.
say, Alice?
I get like the Santa Cruz Haggadah, and it has like the unenlightened or whatever. My family insists on the wicked son, no matter
Yeah,
what
well,
other
they're
thing it has. to be-
traditionalists.
Yes.
The new book, I just got a new book called The Promised Land. Well, you can't see it because I'm, and
Is
they
that a
they-
Haggadah, Sherry?
Yeah, it's Rabbi Ellen Bernstein, and she calls the wicked son the rebellious child.
Okay.
That's better.
That's fair.
That's
You can
definitely
call
better.
it
I like
questioning.
the
That's better.
explanation. The explanation is the child emphasizes the words to you, distancing himself from the community. While it may be tempting to pigeonhole this child as the bad boy, perhaps he simply prefers to perform his service outdoors, chopping wood or tracing the stars in the night sky rather than indoors in a religious ritual.
Like the biblical Isaac, he was a studious one, right? Isaac and Esau and Jacob. Esau was an outdoorsy kind of guy, right? So we have Esau and Jacob, 2 different personalities and 2 sons. Okay, so I wouldn't call it the unenlightened one, because we do have one for that. The one that says Tam, like in Yiddish, is a Tam Tut. Beryl, what's a Tam Tut?
Not
You know, Yiddish,
wise,
Beryl.
unwise.
A Tam Tut is an idiot. Tom
That's
is
mean too.
foolish. So the first one is Chacham. The second one is, I would say, rebellious, like a teenager. The third one is Tom, uneducated, doesn't know. And the fourth one is too young. I would say the uneducated for the third one, and I wouldn't call him stupid, because we don't know what the potential for learning is. He just hasn't been educated. He just hasn't gotten that far or been interested in learning. I mean, it's maybe a kid in Gimel or Dalet Hebrew class and doesn't know all the things, the laws, but I wouldn't call him stupid. that's very harsh, right? To label a kid as being stupid because they don't know something. So as a teacher, all my life, a teacher, I would just say that he just hasn't reached the potential or the interest level yet. But Tom means stupid, and Tom Tut, in Yiddish, a Tom Tut means a nar, a fool.
I don't like that.
That's really not very nice.
No.
It's, right? So that's not complimentary to a child. You wouldn't want to call your child that and label them stupid for life,
No.
okay? All right, so anyway, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.
Thank you.